Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another show of Loving the Game. I'm your host, Jock, and better known as the Yellow Cap. These days, you can find me on Twitter, Yellow Cap Sports. And as some of you might know, my guest tonight is none other than Siv Ngesi, actor, proudly South African comedian, whatever you want to call it. He is a man of many talents and a very busy man, I've heard, during this lockdown. Let's not waste any time. Let's bring the man in and let's get cracking here. How's it, Siv?
Stormers! Western Province!
As you guys can see, I've put on my jersey because I knew this man was going to wear something Stormers. And funny enough, when we logged in before the show, he said exactly the same to me. So somehow we seem to know each other quite well when it comes to rugby terms.
Yeah, man, it's so good to be here. I've been following you for years. I've met you twice in my life, and we've become very close friends. Love the kind of stuff you're doing. So when you asked me, I was just like, a great pleasure. And it's great to see you doing your stuff and, adapting to this life that's happening out there.
Yeah, it's actually, we can say 2.5 times because, and I want to share this. I mean, the first time I met you was at a Springbok test in Pretoria. The Boks were going to play, well, they played Argentina that day.
It was raining.
Yeah, it was raining. It was hailing, in fact, when the anthems were singing.
Yeah.
And I remember on our way to the stadium, we were in a taxi of all things, my first time in a taxi. And the funny thing was, one thing that I remember about that day was we were driving in this taxi on the way to Loftus, and it was traffic. And there were these, what do you call this, street merchants and stuff that were running in the street between cars, and they were selling hats. And then you said something to the effect of, who would ever thought, I can't even actually remember what it was, but it was the funniest thing I ever heard. And I mean, and getting to the stadium, I mean, everybody that you walked past almost knew you. It was just amazing. And I mean, you made a hell of an impression on me. And then the second time we met was even more memorable for me. And I know my wife's going to kill me for telling this story, but it was in 2015 at the Springboks World Cup jersey launch.
Yes, I remember.
Yes, the launch was just done and people were just mingling. And the next moment there was just this noise. And it was Siv, and everybody knew it was you except for my wife. She didn't know. And you came in and we were literally standing in the door almost. And you saw me and you came straight to me and you grabbed my wife and you kissed her on the lips and she didn't know what to do. It was the funniest thing ever. Sorry?
And I saw you at the Sevens last year?
No. It was this year at the, Superhero Sunday.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Yes, and that was, I must commend you. That was something very, very special to me because you were one of the two MCs on the day. And obviously you were busy like crazy. And I took a fat chance. I sent you a DM on Twitter thinking maybe Siv will have a look. And the next moment, I think it was somewhere during the Bulls game or just before the Bulls game. You literally saw the message, you ran around the field and you actually came and said hi because I told you where I was sitting. And I must tell you, dude, that says a lot about you as a person. And I think anybody that's ever met you will agree with me 100% that you are an amazing guy to know. And I mean, I feel honored to know you. I mean, geez, you're really a special guy. But enough about my story about getting to know you. I want to get to know you more. And I mean, it's always been about rugby. And the show is mainly about rugby, but we want to touch on a few other things as well tonight. So let's get cracking. Just tell us, who is Siv and where does Siv come from?
For me, I'm just a young, passionate South African who has. Can you hear me?
Still, yeah.
Oh, I'm just a young, passionate South African who's I just want to change things, man. I don't want to see people suffer. I want to be able to have friends who speak rechte Afrikaans and friends who speak Sotho, Tswana, Xhosa. I don't care where you come from. I want to be able to treat an individual like the person that they are. If you're a good person, you're a good person. I want to live in a country where no one is starving. Everyone has a plate to eat, 3 plates of things to eat per day. No one is cold. No one is struggling. And I want to be able to do what I love, man, every day. Just be able to inspire people to be better. And I really feel like sport is an incredible way to do that. And I really try my utmost best to treat people the way I want to be treated. And that's why for me, if I asked you to that if I told you as I was at the stadium, I would expect you to come and say hi. So I try my utmost best to do what I would expect people to do for me. But apart from that, I'm just a passionate young South African man who just wants to change the world. It's pretty much me.
It's awesome. So, where did you grow up?
I grew up in a township called Guguletu. It's funny. I now live on the 16th floor of an apartment. I flew my drone out the window today, and I realized that just around the corner, I grew up around the corner, never ever imagining, living in the 16th floor in right next door to Parliament. Grew up in a township, a mother, father, very hardworking parents. Just taught me just morals, man. Morals of being a person. We had nothing, but we had nothing, but we had everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then Siv, somewhere along the line, rugby got hold of you. Where was that? Who was that? Who told you about rugby, or how did you get introduced to this game?
The thing is with rugby, my dad played rugby. My dad played rugby, and my dad was quite a passionate rugby player. And growing up, playing rugby was the thing. And a lot of people don't know this, but if you look at all the Springboks, the black Springboks, most of them are Xhosa.
Yes.
Siya Kolisi, Mampimpi. Piwa had some drama there. Noche, Skara. A lot of the Xhosas were really big rugby lovers, huge rugby lovers. It's boxing and rugby in the Eastern Cape. So growing up, my dad really wanted me to get involved in rugby. And yeah, man, he only ever got to watch me play one game, and he showed up drunk. But shit happens.
Was that at school, or was it after school that you played?
High school. It was high school. So I played. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't really play. After high school, I played a bit, and then but the acting bug took over. And when you're involved in acting, you really can't risk, the money maker.
Yeah, that's true. And so, obviously, born in Cape Town, living in Cape Town, you a diehard Stormers. It's pointless me asking who's your favorite team. I mean, it's without a shadow of a doubt the Stormers, and then the Springboks, or is it the other way around?
So for me, the DHL Stormers, I'm very good friends with DHL, and I travel the world with DHL Stormers. I'm part of the family. Every jersey I have, Sia is one of my best friends. Skylar is one of my best friends. I'm very close to them. I'm very close to the team. I definitely think it's definitely obviously Springboks, and then obviously Stormers, Western Province over there. I'm very passionate about the boys, and I think when you get to know rugby players personally, and I'm sure you're the same, you just see it from another way, man. Like for me, every time Sia runs into the field, and every time there's a tackle that looks off, I'm like, oh, Scudder the same, It just becomes so personal. Like I don't understand how people are watching the World Cup final again. I've watched it once, I can never watch it again. I just cannot. Because there's just too much on the line for me. It's just too much. It's still too much. So for me, I can't, bro. I can't watch it. I see people are watching it again. I could never watch it again. It's too much.
I must be honest. I haven't watched it again yet myself. So it's not because I don't want to or anything. But I'm one of those guys, like, it's so hard to watch something even though you know the result. and
Yes.
watch it again, maybe in 10 years' time or something. And then,
Yes.
because I watched the 95 World Cup a few years ago, and that was actually quite fun, knowing we're going to win, but suddenly seeing things that you might have forgotten or never saw, that makes it fun. But now it's too soon.
Yeah. For me, what this is going to sound quite weird from a person who's quite a fan of the Springboks. I wasn't enjoying the way we were playing. I really wasn't up to the final. So like, it was quite weird because in the final, then I was like, yes, this is how I want us to play. You know what I mean? So up to the final, I was loving, that we were winning and stuff, but I wasn't happy with the kind of style that we were playing, And then in the final, it all came together, So for me, it's just, I want to keep it there. I want to keep it there. Because even now, I must be honest, I was a bit worried at the comeback. Because I was worried because New Zealand was going to want us bad, right? And they were going to come guns blazing. England was going to come guns blazing. Wales was going to come guns blazing. And I think the interesting thing about winning a World Cup is, are you actually the best team in the world? Are you number one? One? So it's like, it's interesting, like debate. So for me, I was worried this year. I was like, so for me, I wanted to keep it in like a safe place, there, and I'll watch it one day with my kids or something.
I think a lot of us were like, what the hell are these guys doing? Off with these box kicks. I mean, that was the topic of the World Cup for any South African. And then comes the final, and then it's like a complete whoop, surprise package.
I struggled. I will not lie. I struggled, man. I really, really struggled. And like,
who do you think?
For me,
who do you think was more surprised, the South African supporters or the England players?
That it worked.
Well, with the game that they came up with on the final.
For me, I must be honest. Every Friday, I spoke to Sia every Friday before the games.
Wow.
And every Friday, he always had this silent this confidence.
Yes.
Spoke to him the morning of the game. He's like, said my prayers. Fine, we got this. I was like, I just saw England. I thought to myself, I just saw England kill New Zealand.
Yeah.
But I went to dinner with them, the whole team in Japan. Bro, they were all hanging out together. They knew something we didn't know.
Clearly they did.
But for me, what I realized, it gets to the point in rugby now, I end up supporting individuals, So like, I support Sia, I support Skara, I support Sinatra, I support Colt, I support individuals, which makes it become so personal, like very, very personal, So it's very difficult. It's like watching family play. It's not this.
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be for me. Like it's like me watching a film now. I know too much. I know.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's quite interesting. Like I'm quite passionate about it, and I really love rugby. And I realized that I love the game more than I love teams. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if I watch a rugby game, I will call a penalty if it's a penalty. There's no bias because I want to see rugby. If New Zealand's beating us 15-0 and it's beautiful rugby, I'm like, look at this, so beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a Springbok supporter, but if I see beautiful rugby, man, I see beautiful rugby. There's no like for me, seeing the haka live, opening game of the World Cup, Japan, one of my sporting highlights of my life. It was in Japan, man. The Japanese were singing that, doing the haka. They were singing the Ngozi Sikelel Africa. It was electric, bruh. Electric. Walking through the street.
That's your first All Black game?
No, I have been to All Blacks games before.
Okay.
But, there wasn't as much, the ones I've seen has been Tri-Nations or whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
But this one, man, no, my friend, it was electric.
Wow. Jeez. Yeah. Well, I mean, it comes without saying that clearly your favorite player in the world is Siya Kolisi, and then a whole bunch of other guys, you know.
My
Or am I
favorite, my
wrong?
my favorite rugby person is definitely Sia as a person through and through. When it comes to a player, like a player, it's quite difficult to, because obviously there's forwards, there's backs. I really like, for me, there's something about, I'm more of like the old school rugby, like Lomo, you know what I mean? Like, I loved Lomo growing up. Kricha, who's become a friend, Kone Kricha. Habana,
Okay.
who's become a very close friend as well. It's weird. Like that era, you know what I mean? Now it's like so
Yes.
close. It's just too close for me. But as a person, you can't badmouth Sia in front of me. There's nothing Sia can do wrong in my eyes. Skara, very good friends of mine, very good people. Colby,
Yeah.
I emceed Colby's wedding.
Oh
Good.
wow.
And another person who, for me, is just the future of South African rugby, Stephen Kishoff. I emceed his wedding as well. What a beautiful, beautiful soul. I was the master of ceremonies at his wedding with Amy. Beautiful. They've been so good to me since forever. So I think I definitely will say Skara, Sia, Stephen Kishoff. Another special one is Malcolm Marx. Oh man, yeah, he's plat op die aarde daar. He's baie plat op die aarde, man. Like he's
Oh
baie lief for
wow.
he's baie lief for Malcolm. Very, very, very lekker ook. Baie lekker ook.
That's awesome. Obviously, you've traveled a little bit and you've watched some games overseas. I know that's a bit of an understatement, but in rugby terms, obviously you've traveled a lot. In other terms, you've traveled a lot. I mean, you've seen the world so in many ways from what I've seen on social media. I mean, there's even been places probably that you haven't even reflected on social media because I know you do travel a lot. I'm not so sure how big you into the comedy scene still. I know with your comedy gigs and stuff, you traveled quite a lot as well. But from a rugby perspective, I just want to find out, you've watched games at quite a lot of venues so far. Which venue do you stands out and why?
It's so funny. I really, being in Japan, right? And having it be 70% Japanese, and they all learned an anthem each, is electrifying, man. It's one thing to be at home and hear the anthems being sung. That's amazing. Like, that's incredible. Like, I know that's amazing. But having Japanese people who don't understand rugby be able to sing Nkosi Sikeleli Africa Malu Phakamisu Pondo Lwayo and do it word for word perfectly is why rugby is one of the greatest sports in the world. What people don't know about Japan, before the game starts in Japan, they have a 5-minute video explaining the rules because they don't know rugby in Japan.
Wow.
But they don't show you that on TV, right? They don't show you that on TV. They do not know the rules, so they got taught. Now in rugby, you pass backwards. So what happens in Japan, let's say if there were 10 friends, 5 will buy 5 jerseys from a different country, 5 will buy another 5 from another country. And they'll go to all the different games just to show honor. But interestingly enough, many people in the street didn't even know there was a World Cup. They didn't even know. Because the World Cup rugby was just a warm-up for the Olympics. That's all it was. They gave us both.
Oh.
So all they were trying to do is prepare for the Olympics. So for them, people didn't even care. They didn't even know the World Cup was on, a lot of them. What was happening is that a lot of the people watching it were just recycling. Recycling. But it was just preparation for the Olympics, man. It really was preparation for the Olympics. That's pretty much the only reason they had it.
So Japan has been your best experience, but at the up to this point in your rugby watching career.
Japan was just like, my dream is to go to is Murrayfield in where is it Murrayfield?
Murrayfield, Scotland.
No. So which one is the one in Wales?
That is the Millennium Stadium.
Millennium Stadium. That's one for me to hear those Welsh choirs sing. That I hate London. I hate the English, so I wouldn't want to be watching Twickenham. I don't give a damn. They irritate me.
No, I mean you have to go to Twickenham. Come on, man. Jeez, it's.
I'll go there if someone pays me to go.
Yes, okay. I need to make a lot of money, and then I'll just drag you along.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of very cool friends. So obviously, do you have any memorabilia pieces or something that's dear to you that you got from someone? Like, I mean, I'm sure you've got something. You don't have to necessarily show us if you don't have it with you, but if you can just maybe tell us.
No, man. I'm more of like I'm an experienced kind of guy. Like, I'm all about just being able to be there in the moment, take a picture, you know. But I don't do signing of anything. I'm all about just taking the experience in and like taking it in and really like digging in deep and taking it in. So, you know, I've met the Dan Carters, the O'Driscolls, the Abandoned Lomos, you know, all of the greats. You know, I went to the sports awards in Monaco 2 years ago. So I met a lot of these rugby
laureates.
Yeah. I went not last year, the year before.
So I must tell you that's like if someone had to ask me sporting wise. I actually told my wife now this year when it was on, and I told her, you know what, if there's one wish in the world that I have, it would be to be at one of those award ceremonies, even if I have to sit in the back in the dark on a chair, no table, I don't care. Just to be there must be the most amazing thing ever.
You know, the year I went with Akani, our sprinter. I went with Casta. Casta's a very good friend. She was nominated. Figo was there, O'Driscoll, Dan Carter. Like it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Rake was there. It was just ridiculous. But for me, I want that's the kind of stuff that I like. I want to be able to do what I love and change lives, and that's what I want to continue doing. And sports changes lives.
Yeah, it does.
A small part of me wishes I went into professional sports. Small part of me, because sportsmen are rock stars in the country. You know, it's quite different in other countries.
I think sports stars are bigger in South Africa than actors and musicians.
Yes.
I might be wrong, but
no, definitely.
Especially rugby players.
Yeah. Like today, I went to donate some food parcels to a township, and Sia was like, "Oh man, I want to come," and I said no.
You stay at home.
We're gonna have to deal with people charging you. I said, stay at home. He's like, no, I want to. I said, listen here. I said to him now, I spoke to him about an hour ago. I said, does Bill Gates go to everything that he sponsors? No, he doesn't. Stay the hell home.
And tell me something. What have you ever? Do you have like a most memorable rugby moment? I mean, I know the Stormers haven't really won much in their lives, so I mean, you can't really talk about them. And I mean, I'm excluding World Cups as well.
With the season you guys have had, I wouldn't be saying a single thing. You guys have had a shot.
Year, nobody worries about this year. Next year is the best year ever.
Well. What do I think? What is amazing was. I can remember Stransky's drop kick, man. I can remember it. I actually interviewed him for like an hour and a half.
Wow.
On stage, and because he was supposed to do an hour talk, so he got there. He was like, "Oh, it's Siv." He's like, "No, I'm not talking. Siv's gonna ask me questions." And I was like, what? We spoke for an hour and a half. So he wants me to do something similar at his house, at like a dinner thing for fundraising. Okay. We spoke cock for an hour and a half, man, like talking about everything, how he wasn't the first choice, how he had practiced that kick, and how important it was. For me, I can remember it. I was a kid. I can remember, it was just monumental how big it was, I think for me, that was a big moment. It really was. I think I can remember when Sia called me to tell me that he's been made captain. He called me and I was in Bali. And he called me to tell me he made captain. It's his story. South Africa has no idea yet. They don't know the depth of our captain. Our captain didn't know how to sleep on a bed, didn't have socks. Like, come on, guys. Like, you can't make it up, So I just want to say, anything is possible, man. It's a great example that anything is possible. And if you really want something, you put your mind to it and you make sure no one stands in your way at all. And that's the epitome of the story, For me, even if he didn't win that World Cup, I've been saying for months, for years, that he's going to be one of the greatest South Africans to ever walk on this earth. He will be one of the greatest and most influential South Africans ever. Like anytime you talk to him, he's always talking about other people. He's always praising other people. He's always praising God or other people. He's never taking a moment just to praise himself. And sometimes I have to go, hey, relax. Hey. Like, for example, listen to this. What kind of man he is. So when the New Zealander hit his leg and took him out?
Yes.
Right? Yes. Yeah. I called him and I said, this son of a gun, he took you out. And he said, no, he wouldn't do it on purpose. He called me and he apologized. And I was like, you idiot. You don't even see it. I said, I will hate them for you. I'll be angry for you. So for me, what I'm looking forward to the most, my friend, is the future of South African rugby. The Colbys, the Fassi. Have you seen Fassi? The Sharks fullback.
Yeah.
If they bring back Willie Leroux and not Fassi, I'm going to burn something. Noches playing incredible rugby. Willie must retire. Enough. Willie still has to arrive to the World Cup. He hasn't arrived yet.
Shame, man.
Future. That backline, the backline of the Sharks is formidable. And I love. For me, another thing. Your reserve fly half, really like him. Still can't understand.
Lebo.
Yeah, still don't understand how you guys have Stain starting, but anyway, that's another debate for another day.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the future of rugby, man. Like people like our scrum half, Herschel. He could have been lost in the system, bro. He could have been lost in the UWC, luckily to be spotted. It just shows you we need, for me, I think a lot of people's misconception, we're going to get into politics, but it's not really political, is that it's enough. It's like I tweeted the other day going, give these players a chance, you'll see what they can do. And someone tweeted, oh my God, we're sick and tired of hearing this. We've already won the World Cup with a black captain and a black person scored a try. And I was like, no, that's not enough. We need the kid on the ground, the little kid. If he's Afrikaans, whatever he is, he must think that it's possible. So it's not enough to have a seer. No. Just because a man climbs Everest, it doesn't mean that me climbing Table Mountain is not going to feel amazing. You know what I mean? It's still going to feel amazing to me. So for me, I want those little kids to know that it's possible. And I think we must get there in South Africa. We're not there yet. We have to get to the point when we're inspiring little kids in townships. When the kid sees a rock, he must pick it up and pass it like a rugby ball. He mustn't try and kick it. Our mission is that he doesn't kick that ball. He mustn't shove paper into, he must shove it and shape it into an oval ball, not into a round ball. Yeah. And when we get there, you're going to see the level of rugby you're going to have in this country.
That's great. That's something about you that's really awesome. I mean, you're such a passionate person, and I mean, I get to have to see you down or something. I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but that's not the goal in life, to see you down. But I mean, just
I have my downs, man. The downs are what inspire me to go up, my friend. They're all like just lockdowns, ups and downs, my friend, ups and downs. But when push comes to shove, when you have to deliver the goods, I'll deliver the goods.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, talking about that, I mean, you've moved into acting. It sounds like you've been in acting actually quite a long time in your life, since leaving school. Although when I got to know you, I was more familiar with the fact that you were a comedian, which I found quite strange. I didn't realize, I mean, that at all. But I'm not, in the same breath, I will say, I'm not that familiar with the comedy scene in South Africa. I mean, you usually know of the guys that are right at the top at that moment. And then, they move along and then new guy takes over and stuff. So when I got to know you, I was like, who the hell is Siv? And then I got, basically, that's how, my first introduction was that you're a comedian. There was nothing about acting. So the acting, I must say, that took me quite by surprise, because that is taken off in recent times quite a hell of a lot. I mean, you currently on a show called Still Breathing on Mnet, and you just finished another movie called Karel. I hope you're not Karel, although I know you like being called. So, and I know there's a few other things in the pipeline as well. I mean, just tell us about your acting career. How did it come about?
I've always been into acting, man. I think what happened is when I got into comedy and presenting, that took over my life. I'm still into it. I've always been into acting more than anything else. I think that the only thing is when you get older, there's more parts for older guys. You know what I mean? Like the beard, it ages you a bit, and that's really helped me a lot. So every Thursday, 8:10 on Mnet 101, you can watch me on Still Breathing. I have 2 films in cinema at the moment, but obviously you can't go to cinema. I have an Afrikaans film coming out in September. I have a Nigerian film coming out. I have another TV series coming out. Man, I want it all, man. I want to take it over. I want to be the guy. I want to be the go-to guy, man, for everything.
So when are you doing a Bollywood movie?
Oh yes, I have a Bollywood film. I have a Bollywood film up on circuit now. Yes, I do. It's called Bayer's Cafe. I had to learn how to sing. I had to learn how to sing in Hindi and dance in Hindi. It's
my
on
goodness!
Circuit. It's on circuit now, but because of the lockdown, you can't watch it. And I have a boxing film out, but because of you can't watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware of the boxing film that's out. Honestly, okay, the Bollywood thing was a pure joke, and now, I mean, there you go. You're actually in one. So, wow, that's amazing.
Darren, I do it all, buddy.
Yeah, clearly. Jeez. And then I wanted to ask you. I mean, you just said that you do it all. What if there is one role in the world that you can play? What would that be?
I'd love to play the life of Sia one day. You know what I mean? I think I'll be a bit old by then, but I really would, because it's just there's definitely an appreciation that I don't think any other actor will get. If not, I'll produce it or whatever it is. I just want to tell stories, man. I want to tell stories, South African stories that have nothing to do with race, that have nothing to do with our history. I want to tell everyday stories about South Africans. And I think sometimes as South Africans, we take it for granted at how beautiful our stories are, and how today, listen to this, today I made Malva pudding. And Afrikaans pudding is my favorite pudding today. In South Africa, we don't realize how beautiful our country is. Today, my favorite pudding is Malva pudding. I went to Woolworths today and I got another thing that's Afrikaans. I got the what's it called, one of those little the butternut, the butternut, not butternut. They're like those little round things, man. They sweet. They put cinnamon on them.
Oh, geez. Oh, goodness. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they're like so nice. They're like sweet and stuff. So it's just our country's got such beautiful flipping stories, man. Like about the now. Like we have a beautiful country, man, and I really love it. And I think let's hope after this we realize that before our normal wasn't right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We have to create another normal as a country. We have to create another normal, because if we don't create another normal, we haven't learned our lesson, because this is a lesson. This should be a lesson. You know what I mean?
No, I think it's a lesson for the whole world. It's not just for us. Yes,
agreed.
but closer to home. Obviously, it's for us. It's closer to home. But I mean, for the world, this is like a lot of people have been calling it almost like a reset. And we should honestly embrace this moment. We shouldn't, with all the, the sad thing about this whole thing is that a lot of people are dying, yes. But you know what? We shouldn't focus on that. We should focus on all the positives that can come out of this. There's way more positives in the wait for us once all of this is over. And the sad part is it will never be over, but it will be controlled. But we need to take this time and decide, what are we going to do when this is over, and how are we going to do it in a positive way? How are we going to change the world to make it a better place? How are we going to make South Africa a better place? And I mean, I'm excited. I'm so excited for so many things, for work reasons, for everyday life reasons, for people, black and white, any color, doesn't matter. It should just disappear, and we should just say, hey, we made it through this together, stronger together, like the Springboks did it. We can also do it. I mean, there's no stronger nation in the world, and I think you will agree with me, than South Africans. We've gone through hell and back, and I mean, we'll do it over and over again if you give it to us. It doesn't matter. And I really think there's so much positives in waiting for us after this, pandemic. So we mustn't think it's all doom and gloom. Yeah, a lot of people are going to lose jobs and businesses are going to go down. But you know what? I'll tell you now, with the bad comes the good. And normally it outweighs the bad.
Always.
That's my opinion.
I am the same.
I mean, just by the way, my favorite pudding, and it's no joke, is Malva pudding as well. I mean, you can catch me red-handed with it. I mean, I'll do anything for that. Malva pudding with custard, proper custard.
I just had it now. So
you make me jealous. So, tell us about some places that you visited. I mean, we touched on it just now. I mean, like I said, I mean, you visited a few places. It's not a few. You visited quite a shitload of places.
I did a travel show for Mnet called Winging It. I've done Cuba, Bolivia, Istanbul, Ljubljana, Riga, Japan, Hong Kong, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore. I've done Kenya, I've done Somalia, Botswana, Mozambique, South Africa, Lesotho. Go up to the Europeans. I've done Germany, Holland, Sweden. I've done Belgium. I've done a lot of the world. But do you know why I travel? Because when I travel, I meet myself. And I always go and travel to meet myself. Because when you get put into these hectic scenarios where you don't know what anyone is saying, you just go back to the basic morals of being being a person, man. And just it's respect goes a long way. And so when you travel, bro, you travel and you meet yourself. And I meet myself every time I travel. And that's why this is the longest I haven't traveled in my life. It's weird. My passport is
now with the lockdown.
Yeah. Oh, I lost. Supposed to go to Argentina with the Stormers, DHL Stormers. I was supposed to go to Japan with DHL Stormers. Supposed to go to LA a few times and New York a few times. I was supposed to be in New York playing rugby in New York in July. I play rugby in New York with an inclusive team. It's an all-gay rugby team. One of the only straight guys. And we were playing in a tournament called the Bingham Cup. It's biggest rugby tournament in the world in terms of numbers, 100 and something teams, and it is gay teams from all around the world. They call it inclusive rugby. And I joined a club, had my very good friend, Afrikaans friend of mine called Vilko. I was his captain, and found out 2-3 years later he was gay, and I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, and I was in New York, he was like, come play for the team. Played for this team, we won the league, and it's about, say, 80-90% gay men. And when I say they play, they play. We're moving people.
Oh, wow.
But that trip's been cancelled because obviously my work has moved up now, and we don't know if the tournament's going to happen. But yeah.
I see. Tell me, this is a bit awkward, but I mean, you like sharing this picture quite often. I mean, on social media, there's this picture of you, and I think I might get his name wrong. Is it Janus Vermeulen or something?
Janus.
And I'm not sure. I think it was in America where you took this picture of you guys standing butt naked on the Hollywood Hills or somewhere.
No, that is Bolivia, one of the highest cities, one of the highest countries in the world, La Paz.
Okay. Now, tell us about the picture. I mean, I always wonder, why the hell would you do that? And who took the picture, by the way?
Our producer. For me, I love creating moments, man. It's a moment. Yes. Because it's never malice. So I've never gotten in trouble for it. I did it all different countries, and when we did it, it was a perfect episode. People loved it. No man,
was it on TV?
Yeah, it was on TV. It was on TV.
Oh wow!
It was a hit.
And gig-wise, I mean, whether it's comedy, acting, whatever you do, what was your best gig ever?
I was 9 years old. I performed for Nelson Mandela's birthday party.
Oh wow! What did you do?
Just sang when I was a kid. I used to sing a lot when I was a kid. And I sang at his birthday, and then I had lunch with him.
Oh wow, that must have been special, man.
And that was my third gig in my life.
Oh wow, that is amazing. Tell me, Siv. Yes, we've literally touched on almost everything that I wanted to ask you. I don't know if I missed something or is there something that I don't know about you, but I mean, I've tried to obviously dig around a little bit. There's not much dirt to find on you, which is great. And I mean, just quickly back to rugby. If there's one wish you have, what wish in rugby terms do you have as a supporter? Because you are a supporter sometimes.
Yeah. I wish they got paid more. I wish they didn't have to worry about having other jobs and working on other jobs. I really wish they were better taken care of financially and stuff, because only the big boys get the real good money, and then I would love for people to get to know the players the way I get to know them. Because when I was a kid, these guys were like these gods who are unattainable, Yes. I want kids to know that Sia doesn't mind taking a picture. Scara doesn't mind taking a picture. That, you know what I mean? These people are human. And I would love to see rugby in the townships, rugby in the villages. I want to see rugby in the trenches, man. I want to see it everywhere. And then I think we'll be able to produce incredible talent. Bro, well, Mampimpi started rugby in his teens, bro, late teens, Mampimpi. Your prop for the black prop for the Bulls started late in his life. A lot of them started late,
Yeah.
So it's all doable. We can all do it. And the cricket's got a lot of these boys coming through, like the Rabados, the Mgidis, and they're all coming through the system like these class acts. Like, we must just open it up. I want everyone to get a fair chance, man. I want I want the best against the best continuously. I wanted to get to the point when we don't have to say we need this and this. I want the best against the best, and then we're going to see the real magic is going to come through. And yeah, man, if we run into a field in South Africa and it's all 15 white.
You still there? Oh, I don't know what happened now. We seem to have lost Siv for a moment there. Let's just give him a chance and he will be back soon. I think something might have plugged out there on his side. So yeah, let's just hold on a few seconds and see if we can get Siv back quickly. Anyway, just want to thank everybody that's joined the chat tonight. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate you guys coming in. And tomorrow we're going to have a lady, our first lady to join us. Her name is Dawn Dunn, and she is one hell of a rugby fan. Big into her sevens. She loves the Blitz box. And this chat will be at 12 midday tomorrow. So yeah, please join us and let's see, what we can learn about Dawn and, her love for the game. We seem to have lost Siv completely now, so we'll just give it a second or two. He's probably just lost the signal. Let's see. He's on his way back, he says. The wonders of technology. Thanks for staying with us, guys. Really appreciate it. I think the man forgot to plug his laptop in by the sound of it. So he's just getting it up and going again. Anyway, again, once again, thanks for all the comments that's come through. Appreciate them. I mean, if there's anybody that's got a question for Siv about his career, about his love for the game or something, please send that through to us and we can pop it on the screen and we will get him to answer a few quick questions. So there he is. Let's get him back online.
Hey!
Thanks for joining us again.
So this laptop is sponsored, right? So
wow.
Actually used it and it shut down on 15%.
Oh my goodness! Well, let's not tell the sponsor that.
No, it's because it's the first time I've ever charged it.
Oh, okay. So it's brand new still.
Yeah.
Anyway, Siv, yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah, you were just telling us about all the, your wishes for rugby and all that.
Yeah. So my wishes for me is, if the best is the best must play against the best. But let's be honest, our systems aren't like that yet. They're not there yet.
Yeah.
I want, because for me, the interesting thing about rugby is that rugby, you might love rugby, but you're a Bulls supporter. I couldn't watch Bulls play continuously because I don't like that kind of rugby. But some people do like that kind of rugby, right? And vice versa. So if you have a selector who likes Bulls rugby, he's not going to go to a township and find Bulls rugby. He will not. You know what I mean? So the interesting debate there is that it's not racism. It's just he has a certain style, and that style you will not find there. So we need, and Rassie, for me, one thing about the World Cup, Rassie's mind. I think people gave him too much credit at some point. At some points, you felt like Rassie invented rugby. I used to go, calm down, but I like relax. He didn't invent rugby, but what I liked is I liked his vision. He did a lot of things that I think a lot of people wouldn't be able to do. Yeah. And I think for me now, let's just build on and build on and build on. And I look forward to, one day my son wanting to be a Springbok. I never want my son to be an All Black. I never want my son to support the All Blacks. Ever, 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 ever. But I definitely want my son to have people that look like him playing in the national team. It's called representation, and it's very, very important.
You'll probably have to move to Pretoria for your son not to support the All Blacks.
Hey, I don't know, my friend. Pretoria is a far place.
So, no, thanks so much, man. Yes, you've been great. There was something I wanted to ask you, but I forgot about it. It's not the end of the world. We'll chat again one day, and I mean, I just want to thank you for your time. Jesus, when I started putting names down to get on the show, I was like, I told my wife, I want to get Siv. I so badly want to get Siv, but he's such a high profile guy, and you get a lot of these people that you just know you don't ask them, because the first thing they're going to tell you is, have you got money or whatever. And it's such a shame, unfortunately, but I know that sometimes it's people's livelihood and stuff. I mean, I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm doing this because I love what I do, and I want to get to know people. I want to show the world out there that there's other people on this planet bigger than guys wearing Springbok jerseys and Springbok blazers or whatever, that also love the game, that maybe even knows more about the game than people even realize, and just give them a platform to tell the world, this is who I am. And and
I love
from
it.
here on, maybe they will follow you, maybe they won't like you, who knows it. Rugger World, I see they've got a question here for us. While you were gone, I asked the guys to just send us some questions. I see a serious question. How do we get coaches like Jonathan McQuena getting a top job? Oh, there's a tough one just for you.
Who does he coach again?
The last time he was coaching, what is it called? Pucker in the Varsity Cup.
For me, I think the most important thing that I find, what I find in anything that's got to do with team sports or like very high level sports, I think for me, I want anyone to go through the system. I don't want anyone to be jumping any hoops. I really want people to start coach under 14, coach under 15, coach first team. So for me, I don't want people to go through the process. I think in cricket, interestingly enough, there was one guy who they rushed through. So when we got killed in India, in 9 like 7-0, like records were broken on us. And then he'll get lost in the system. For me, so I'm not really following his career, but I just want everyone to go through a system, and everyone must take their falls, everyone must take their knocks, because at the end of the day, when you get into, because I box, right? I box. And I spar every Tuesday and I spar every Saturday. And I get moored left, right, and center by the professionals. They moor me. But when I fight people my level, I kick their asses. So for me, I want to be able to know that a coach has lost it under 14, that a coach has lost it first team, that a coach knows what to say when he gets into the changing room and your team's lost 15-0. Not when he gets to a high level job and he doesn't know. So for me, I'm not following this. So I'm just making a general statement. I just want everyone to go through the fails, the falls. That's what I want. I want everyone to fail. I want everyone to be able to succeed and everyone to know what to do at their worst. There's nothing worse than someone who's been pushed up to a position and they don't know what to do. I'm not talking about this guy. I'm just talking about it in general. I just want people. But the thing is, interestingly enough, for you to fail, you need to be given an opportunity to fail.
Exactly.
And it goes back into opportunities. Give us opportunities. Give people opportunities. And then let them fail, but give them a chance. You know, Jacques Callis, when Jacques Callis started, he was averaging 13. Jacques Callis. The Jacques Callis. 13, 12. The Jacques Callis. And we're saying give people a chance, because when you see them in the nets, you can see their capabilities. That's all I'm about rugby, man. I want people to be given a chance. Give them a chance to fail, give them a chance to get back up, and then you can see it in the future. But we have a lot of talent coming through, and I'm looking forward to the future of it tonight. I think when you start hearing kids all around the country going, I'm chasing Kobe, no, I'm Mbibi, no, I'm Kolisi, then you know things are changing, and that's beautiful in the sport. We're in the township, there's kids calling themselves Willie LaRue. You know, there's people calling Lindy. Nah, bruh. This is the beauty of this country. It's not small, bruh. From when I was a kid, we used to get the ball and we used to scream, Stransky, Stransky. You know what I mean? It starts moments. And I think the thing about South Africa is that you can judge, people like to judge South Africa on the good things. You should judge us on our worst. Judge us how we are at our worst and judge us how we are on our best, and we must meet ourselves in the middle. You know? Remember when it was the World Cup, when it was the World Cup soccer? We were incredible. Crime was lower. No one was doing gak. We were amazing. Afterwards, we must meet in the middle.
Yep. Siv, geez, dude, thank you so much. Thank
Sure,
you
man.
so much for inspiring a little, us, that everybody that joined tonight. Obviously, the people that are still gonna watch. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you so much. Please tell us where people can follow you.
I am Siv N on Twitter. On Instagram, it's Siv Ngesi. Follow me. Let's change South Africa one person at a time, guys. One person at a time, one life at a time. If you guys can afford, feed people, give people stuff to eat. We people who can afford to feed people need to feed people. Or else remember that what they say is that when the poor go hungry, they're going to eat the rich.
That's a nice one. Thanks so much, Siv. I really, really appreciate your time once again. Stay safe. Wash those hands, and we'll chat soon again. Stay safe, brother.
You too, brother. My dad.